Hello, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the pool party. I hope you can swim because we're definitely diving into the deep end with a huge splash of truth, facts, evidence, information, and proof. Swim. Say what you mean. It's talk about talking. How we listen, how we hear, how we speak, how we hear what we're listening to when we speak, how a listener hears what we're saying, if what we're saying, what they're actually hearing and or understanding. Is it clear? Swim. Say what you mean. Well, that's just the beginning of understanding, because after we get that understanding, how do we accept it? How we respond if it's not what we expect is paramount. Are you okay with the truth? Are you man, woman, human, or spiritual enough to accept the truth? Let's find out. Welcome to the SWYM-ing Pool with your host, Travis Bridges. Wow, can you hear me now? Well, let me tell you everything I was saying. Thanks for my technical people. You can probably hear me now. It helps to unmute your microphone. That's what happens when you're your own engineer and your own DJ / producer. Anyway, welcome to the SWYM-ing Pool. I am your host, Travis Bridges. And in the words of Steve Harvey, we got a good one for you. I'm going to get my caller on. I'm going to tell you how it's going to go. I'm going to get a caller on that's going to do like an icebreaker. And then after the icebreaker, I'm going to take a really short break. And then I'm going to come back with my first guest. And then I'm going to open up with the first guest. Then I'm going to take another short break. And then I'm going to come back with my second guest. And then I'm going to close the live stream out. By the way, this is the SWYM-ing Pool, SWYM. It's the acronym for Say What You Mean. It's very important that you say what you mean. You know why? Because so many people say what they feel, what they think, what they believe, and it doesn't necessarily coincide with what's actually coming out of their mouth. So if a person like me is listening and you say something, and based on my understanding of the dictionary, if you say something and I'm like, wait a minute, what did you say? But then they'll say, well, no, what I meant was this. Well, then that's where you get the confrontations that I'm always talking about and settling them. It's very important that if you have a confrontation with someone, speaking of confrontation, to talk it out. Listen, hear, pay attention, and then be at peace. Sleep well. Don't sleep well when you know somebody's not at peace with you or you're not at peace with somebody. That doesn't mean, trip out, because you can't satisfy everybody. And sometimes people are just going to be just flat out difficult. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the resolutions that you can get to the bottom of. Okay? If you'd like to talk to me, I'd love to talk to you. TravisBridges2@AOL.com. Send me a message. If you'd like to talk to me yourself, or if you'd like for me to talk about a subject, I will definitely do it. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I just believe I've lived long enough to be non-biased about information that I hear and that I process as it relates to getting to the bottom of a resolution. I'm going to get my first caller on, and as I said, after I get the caller on, I'm going to take a short break, and then I'm going to come back and with my first and second guests for tonight. This would be what I'm calling the ice.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
How are ya?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm not doing bad at all. Thank you so much for the short notice of coming on to my live stream with me. I promise you I'm going to keep you for less than 5 minutes. You can start the timer. Not yet. I'll let you know when to start the timer, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, the icebreaker is going to go like this, okay? I'm going to say something, and I want you to tell me whether or not it's true or false, or how it's either true or false, okay? I think it was Jim Rohn who said this a while back, and then Les Brown kind of maybe got it from him. I don't know. I think I've heard both of them say it, as I listen to podcasts and inspirational information. But there's a saying that goes like this. What am I doing here? What's happening? Oh, am I turning up? Whoa. Okay. What am I doing? All right. I'm still being my own engineer, turning down the wrong stuff. Anyway, all right. Here it goes like this. And I want you to tell me. Are you ready? Here's the question or statement, and I want your opinion on it. Your opinion of someone else is a reflection of yourself. Do I need to repeat that, or did you hear it?
No.
Let me repeat it again, just for good measure. I have enough time.
Okay.
Your opinion of someone else is a reflection of yourself. True or false?
True.
Ooh. Now, just real short, can you tell me how that's true?
I believe you can see in others things that you notice about your own self. So you're seeing those things through your own filter, your own eyes, your own, countenance.
So I'm glad you said it that way. So most times when I ask that question, or when I was first introduced to it, when I first heard it, it's like, well, that's not true. The first thing you hear is, my opinion of someone else, my thoughts about someone else, my assessment about someone else is a reflection of me. Meaning if I see someone doing something, that means I'm the same as them. No, it doesn't necessarily mean that, as much as it means is a reflection of how you think, how you process information. So it's a very tricky statement. So again, tell me how it's possible, and then I'll let you go.
Well, I think that you notice in other people things that you have a sensitivity to, or a perception in either yourself or how you think. So if you have that heightened perception, then you're going to notice that.
Okay, I like that. Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. As I said, I wasn't going to keep you long. I want you to stay tuned and listen to the rest of the podcast/broadcast. You can't call it a broadcast because I'll get into that another night. But anyway, I'm going to take a break. Thank you for being with me. I'll be right back. Don't move, okay?
Okay, thank you.
About talking. It's designed to bring awareness to how we listen, how we hear, and what we do with the information we receive during communication. The mind is automatically programmed to protect the body and soul. It displays that through each and every encounter we experience. If any part of the body is threatened, the mind will automatically issue the flight command. The flight command to retreat to safety. Well, that same command is also deployed when our ego is threatened. The ego, yes, the ego. It's so natural and common, it happens oftentimes without us even knowing. Engaging in conversation and staying focused on what is present is considered mental fitness. It strengthens our emotions and helps us to gain control of our circumstances instead of having our circumstances overtake our thinking and our very existence. It's a difficult task to achieve because our feelings, beliefs, and desires are so strong that it causes us to totally disregard even the most common or basic reasoning. This live stream is only here to bring awareness to that subconscious process. Nothing or no one is actually wrong. However, The idea of being open to anything outside of what we've already concluded is golden, especially if the new information is transparent. The SWYM developers would like to say thanks for supporting, watching, listening, and sharing this information. Now, back to the swimming pool. Let's dive in and swim.
Well, here comes my caller, and hey, hello. Hello. Hello.
Hey, I'm sorry. I had put my phone on silent, and that's why I didn't hear the phone ringing.
It seems to always be something with you.
No, something wrong with your little services today. I was
No.
available.
With you're available with your phone on silent?
Yeah, because you said don't answer no phone calls, and so I didn't want it to be trying to ring, so I had put it on private or something. He had told me how to make it so people couldn't call through.
Well, silent is not how people can't call through.
No, it means private or something she did. I hit the switch on the side of the phone. That's what she told me to do.
Okay, so what that does is silence your phone, meaning if you're expecting a call back from me, you're not going to hear it.
No, I went to the kitchen. I would have seen it blinking, but I went to the kitchen to get me something to drink because it was taking forever.
I was taking forever?
Okay. You were.
When I called you, you
5
said you had to
minutes
go
I
to the
used
bathroom.
I went to the bathroom and everything. Oh, God.
Okay.
You ready? You got it set up?
Yes, we're rolling right now. You're on the air now. All of that conversation just went to our listeners and viewers, but it's okay. It kind of sort of rings in with what our topic is going to be about. How have you been?
Very well.
Okay, well, as you know, this is SWYM. SWYM is the acronym for Say What You Mean, SWYM. I call it the swimming pool. And in the swimming pool, we just dive deep and we talk about talking. So our subject is not always a topic, so to speak. Sometimes I will do like last week. I let my guests pick the subject, but I have one for you. And we're going to just talk about it and get right into it. We don't say names. We don't say locations. We don't mention people's names, streets, tags, anything to do with any identification of any person, place, or thing. It's pretty much just conversation. Okay. So if you want to promo some of your stuff later, we can do that maybe in the description or something. But no one will know who you are. I like to make it like that. So it'll be about the conversation and not about the person. So are you okay with that?
That's fine.
You know that there are different kinds of communication styles, right? Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot to do something. I forgot. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. I have to put my music on, and I have to get used to that. I'm just going to tell you, I had some massive technical issues before I got you on the phone, and it's okay. Now I got some different stuff in the studio, and I was trying to learn how to work it. But now that I'm up and running, I'm ready to go. It's just you and me. So back to my point. We were talking about communication styles. You are aware that there are different communication styles, correct?
Yes.
So communication style, do you know what the different communication styles are right off?
Not off the top of my head, but I know we got sign language because that's what I'm trying to learn now. That's a part of communication.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I'm talking about verbal communication, personality types.
Oh, verbal.
Not necessarily verbal. I'm just saying personality types in terms of communicating. Do you know what they are?
Share that with me. I don't. Share that with me.
Okay. Well, I have them here, but I kind of wanted to talk based on what we know, because whenever we're in communication, we don't have a dictionary or anything to look up words. We went to at least third grade, and for the most part, we have an understanding of what most words mean because we choose to use them. So that's going to get real good into what I'm talking about. Sometimes we speak and we don't know what we're saying. We're speaking what we're feeling instead of what's actually coming out of my mouth. And this is going to tie really in good with that. So I have them here. And before we finish, I will mention what they are. There's 5 different types, but I kind of want to know what you think they are without without officially looking them up. You speak to different people with different personality styles. So just kind of tell me what you think different, personality types and people who communicate.
Now, when you say personality type, or are you speaking of the love languages? We need to get on the same page.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm glad you mentioned that. Here's what I'm asking you about. I'm first of all talking about communication styles. Communication styles as it relates to personalities in different types of people. There are 4/5 different psychological communication styles that deal with personality types. Based on a person's personality, they will have a communication style. So there are some official ones, and hopefully you're not on your phone trying to Google it real quick, because that's not what I want you to do. I'm going to say what they officially are, but based on your knowledge and your level of intelligence, just tell me some different personality types that you can think of right off the bat.
Well, when I think of personality, I think of the person's output. If a person is talking loud to me or whatever, I think sometimes they feel by speaking loudly, they're getting their points across. Whereas majority of the time, if you're talking loud to me, you're just going to turn me off, and I'm not going to even pay you any attention. But when it comes to verbal communication, I feel you're speaking to someone, not at them. So I don't know if I'm on the right track yet, but that's what I got to say about that. I'm a little
Okay, no,
lost.
you're on the right track, and it's okay. You're right. That is a personality style. Someone who speaks loudly and aggressive, that would be considered an aggressive personality type or an aggressive communication style. So that's good. Give me one more, and then we'll get into it. Give me one more communication style that you can think of, and then we'll get into what we're going to talk about.
Well, majority of the time when you're speaking to your lover or your sweetie, you kind of have that little tone where you're trying to capture his attention or her attention. So you may have a sexy, or you may have that sexy voice that you're trying to portray at the time when you're talking to someone, where you're getting ready to talk about something a little more intimate, more than a business. Because I always feel that people have a business voice. They have a friend hangout voice, like what's up, da-da-da, when you're talking to
Okay,
whomever.
hold on. Before you go down, we're talking about, okay, those are different messages and deliveries. What I'm trying to get into is personality types and communication styles. Naturally, if I'm at a ball game, I'm going to talk differently than if I'm at a dinner table. So those are different deliveries in different settings. I'm talking about communication styles. There's certain people who speak certain ways. Some people are very aggressive when they talk. So you mentioned that, someone who talks loud. So that would fall under the aggressive communication style or personality type. So they're aggressive people. So what I want you to do is come up with another communication style, not setting. Because if you're with your lover, as you said, yes, you're going to speak differently than if you're, yelling at your kid, trying to tell them to steal third base when the pitcher isn't watching. So different. What I'm saying now is communication style. So we have aggressive, which is officially one of those. Can you think of another communication style, maybe through someone or friends or family or work, that delivers their communication style in a different way?
Well, it just depends on the person, the situation. I'm just saying, because we speak with feelings, and sometimes we communicate with our hands, it's a lot that goes into that. As far as you can talk, I would say you could be passive aggressive, you can be assertive, things of that nature. When you want to get your point across and you're trying to sell something, majority of the time when it comes to selling, you're very aggressive or assertive. I'm not going to say aggressive. I'll say you're very assertive when you have more knowledge about something.
Okay. So you just mentioned it. Assertive is another one of the communication styles. So we have two of the 4/5. So we've got passive, and you mentioned so there are at least two more that I want to talk about, but we'll get into them. So the main two that you just mentioned is assertive and aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before we get into it, I'm going to tell you the other at least two more. There's a passive, there's aggressive, there's passive aggressive, there's assertive, and then there's manipulative. Do you know anyone at all that's manipulative in their communication style?
I know several people that's very manipulative when it comes to talking and trying to get you to do what they want you to do.
So, give me an example of what manipulative would be.
Well, manipulative with me is when a person is trying to get you or persuade you to do something that you're really not interested in, but they're going to pull all the tricks and the bunnies and everything out of the hat to get you to see their way of thinking. And like when I say manipulative, if they know something about you and they know a weaker point or something that can take me, for example, the love of my deceased husband. If someone can show me a trait or something that has similarities to him, it kind of softens my heart and my demeanor, even if you're just talking to me, because we have that, how can I say, that inner feeling, and you become more compassionate about what they're talking about. And I think that's being manipulative if you're trying to get someone to do something based on their emotions or feelings at that time.
Okay. In your explanation, you mentioned the word persuasive. Is manipulative and persuasive the same, yes or no?
I would say they're hand in hand. They're not exactly the same, but they're in the same family. They could be cousins.
So here's my question. Is manipulative and persuasive the same, yes or no?
No.
They're not. Okay. So thank you for that. When you were explaining manipulative, you mentioned persuasive. And I know they go hand in hand, and that's why it's important to speak, what you actually mean as opposed to how you feel. So that's what this live stream is about, is saying what you mean, not so much how you feel or what you think or what you believe. And it's okay to do that. But when it comes to resolving conflict, we must say exactly what we mean, and we have to link up, the definition of the word we're using. So while you were explaining manipulative, you mentioned persuasive, and I guess I would have to go back and listen to it to find out how you threw that in. But I wanted to make sure we're not talking about the same thing, because it can get tricky and even confusing. So you are right off the top saying that persuasive and manipulative are not the same thing. I want to make sure we're clear before we move on.
Correct.
Okay. So manipulative means more of what to you? How is manipulative different from persuasive?
When I say, I just feel like sometimes, and maybe I should not say this, with older people, sometimes because they don't understand certain things, you can manipulate them by telling them certain things. So when I would say when a person consciously don't know, that's when I would say at all hands down, they can be manipulated into doing something. Because if you have no knowledge of something, but someone comes to you and they're telling you certain things as if they know everything about this particular, I'm going to just use the word product. They can manipulate you into trying the product because they're selling it so well. And I know I said that persuasion or persuasive is not the same thing, but it's walking so close in the same passage until.
Okay, hold on. I don't want to interrupt you, but it's very important in communicating that you can't. Well, you can do what you want to do. I'm just saying it's important to say what we mean. If you mean persuasive.
Okay, well, I'm saying what I mean. When a person comes to manipulative communicating style or communication styles, I think it's because they can present themselves showing knowledge of what they're talking about. And that's that.
Okay. All right. So, without getting into that, I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. Persuasive and manipulative are definitely two different things. We'll just leave it there.
Okay.
Okay. So now this is going to get more into the meat of what our original conversation was. This was more of the icebreaker and the warm up. And thank you for being patient and participating. There's a communication style that falls under, I guess, what would be considered aggressive and or passive aggressive. And I'm going to mention two words that are similar to what we just said, persuasive and manipulative. They're similar, but they're very different. We've already cleared that. These next two words fall under the communication style of aggressive, and it is oh no, that's that one. It is combative and confrontational. Are those two words? I want you to think about them for a moment. Combative and then confrontational. Are they the same or not?
They are.
Combative and confrontational are the same. That's your final answer.
That's my final answer.
Okay. Thanks for. So, are they similar in any kind of way?
They are.
Okay.
Because majority of the time, if a person is being confrontational, what are they doing? They're fussing. They're trying to get you to join in with something that they're not agreeing about. And combative, they're doing the same thing. They're wanting to fight, or it's just a response as in a high, strong individual that's upset about something. So I'm going to say it is the same.
Okay, they are the same. Okay. Are there any differences?
Well, combative, I feel they are in the act of doing something. Confrontational is they're to that point where it could go further to get to combativeness. So your starting point will be confrontational, wanting to do, and combative, you are doing.
Okay. So I'm going to just what do you call is the word? Refresh for a moment.
Remember.
Yeah. So we're talking persuasive and manipulative as they relate to combative and confrontational. So here's the next question. I'm going to pull this together in a few. If you had to, which are you personally? Which are you more of? Are you more combative or confrontational?
I'm neither.
Okay, listen to the question. No one's accusing you of anything. And if you're neither, that's fine. Pardon?
Because I always tell people not the person that's
okay, slow down. Hold on. I need you to stay with me. Stay with me. I need you to kind of sort of answer. Okay. I need you to answer these questions, based on how I'm asking them. I'm not accusing you of either. If you had
No,
to,
I know, but I'm just telling you.
okay, but I don't need you to give me the buts. I just need you to kind of answer. If you can't or you won't, then I'll respect that.
Okay.
But I want you to think about it for a moment. We're talking about a subject, and I just kind of want to, and I'm asking you this for a reason. I said I'll pull it together in a few. If you had to be
Okay.
labeled one or the other, if you had to be, let's just say in some weird world, you had to be labeled one, which are you more of? Combative or confrontational?
Well, I guess I'll say confrontational because you want me to answer it, but I
I
really
do want
feel
you to
I'm either
answer.
one.
Okay, it's fine.
I'll
Listen, I'm
say
not
confront.
accusing you of either one. This is just which
No,
one
no,
has
I
a.
know that. I'm just saying I'm really neither one, but since I got to make a selection, I'm going to
Exactly.
go with confrontational.
Okay. All right. Now, as it relates to persuasive or manipulative, which are you more of?
Persuasive.
Okay. So manipulative definitely has a negative connotation. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
It depends on the situation, but I would be more persuasive than manipulative because I don't ever want anyone to do something if they're truly not wanting to do it. And I feel like manipulative, you're taking control of the situation because the person is not as knowledgeable as the person that's being manipulative. So
Okay.
I can be persuasive. Hmm.
Okay, I got you. All right. And so I don't think they're the same. The degrees are different. When you talk about manipulative and persuasive, I think no one wants
Hmm.
to be accused of being manipulative. But I guess for
Correct.
someone to say that they're combative, does that's not as bad as manipulative if you're comparing. So persuasiveness and manipulative is to combativeness and confrontational. I think combativeness and
Hmm.
confrontational are more of the same, whereas manipulative and persuasive are more opposites.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to say opposite,
More, I said
but
more
they're in the
opposites.
same. Okay.
No?
No, I don't think they're opposite.
Well, they're not as close as persuasive, I mean as confrontational and combative. Those two are kind of
Right.
they're similar, but
Hmm. They
persuasive
are.
and manipulative are not similar. They are more different. Correct?
And how so?
Okay. Okay, since you're asking questions. Manipulative is something someone does when they are meaning not necessarily any good. If you're persuading, if I'm going to persuade you to do something, I'm doing something that's probably going to be in your favor more so. If I'm manipulating you, it has a definite negative connotation. It means I'm trying to do something that's not necessarily in your favor. You see how they're
Okay.
right. I wouldn't manipulate you to take a bath. I would persuade you to take a bath.
Yeah. I
Okay.
got you, and you're correct.
Okay. So as it relates to being combative and confrontational, I really think they are more of the same than they are different, as opposed to persuasive and manipulative. Can we at least agree on that? And do you see the obvious differences in how they are similar, same, and very different?
Well, in both instances, both pairs are different in their own way.
That
But
goes without saying.
I feel like combative is more at risk than confrontational because some people can say things that's sharp as a knife and that would be considered confrontational, but combative means that you're actually going to hit, knock out, fight, do all of that. So I would think that combative is more offensive than confrontational. And maybe I'm just looking at it on the outside looking in, but that's the way I would look at it, because I can be confrontational with you and say what I want to say. You're going to say what you want to say, but I'm never going to put a finger on you. Whereas combative, you're fighting. You're all the way into it.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your explanation of those. Now, this is where it gets, we're going to take a turn, and I'm going to try to be mindful of our time. We may have to finish this at another time, or maybe I could do part 2 of this. How, as it relates to saying what you mean and meaning what you say, if a person is aggravated and they're going to describe you, since you're neither one of the two, and you're more confrontational. If, let's just say I was aggravated with you and I wanted to accuse you of being maybe difficult. That's a new word we're introducing. Difficult. And I accused you of one or the other. What are the sure signs of one or the other? If I'm combative, am I trying to bring peace? If I'm persuasive, am I trying to be peaceful? Do I have a peaceful communication style or personality type? You understand the question? It's kind of
all over the place.
Yeah, it is. Let me clarify. No, let me clarify.
Okay.
Allow me to clarify. Let's just say you and I are having a conversation and I'm aggravated with you, or you're aggravated with me, and I want to describe how you're communicating with me. And of course, aggressiveness would be the headline, but I wanted to, put, 1A and call you a particular, describe you particular. And I say, you're combative. What would you have to display for me to be accurate in that assessment of your communication type, your communication style? What would you have to do or say for me to be accurate? Because remember, if I'm aggravated, or let's just say I don't like you, and I want to label you, and if I accuse you of one or the other, I'm labeling you or your communication style. Hold on a second. I'm labeling you or the communication style at the moment. And let's say I'm using combative or confrontational. And for sake of time, let's just say if I describe your communication style at a moment as combative, what would you have to do or say for me not to be just in my feelings because I don't like you or I'm so aggravated? If I say you're combative or you're confrontational, we're going to deal with confrontational later.
So let me get the clear understanding.
Okay.
We're having a conversation. You're aggravated with me and you call me combative. And you're asking me now to show you what examples would actually be the format of being combative towards you because you're aggravated. One, if I was considered combative, I would probably stand up and get all in your face with head, neck roll, all of that good stuff. And definitely that is a form of an individual that's ready to go to the next level opposed to talking. They're ready to include some actual physical.
So give me a word. So that would mean, so aggressively, like getting close to you in your face. I would guess that would be correct. So also loud in your face.
Mm-hmm. All in your face.
Okay. So then if you did that.
And if you're saying, and the key word would be, since you call me combative, I'll show you what combative is. And that's when you take it to that next level, as in the face, hand pointing, like really close and very loud.
Okay. So, I heard something that was more physical. If we're having a conversation and I stand up in your face and I get loud and like my mouth, my lips are on the top of your nose in your face like that, That's definitely being
Mm-hmm.
even provocative as well as combative. Is it possible for you and me or somebody could I be combative in over the phone?
No, combative it over the phone. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, slow
Because
down,
that's
slow
just
down, slow down. I don't. Okay, I need you to answer the question first because I need clarity here. I'm making
no,
my
you
own.
can't. No, you can't be. You can't be combative over the phone. You can be confrontational over the phone because if you're confrontational, you're talking. Combative is not talking. That's the first key point there.
Okay, slow down right there. So, if I describe your communication style as combative, it would be kind of sort of, if I could use the word asinine, it just wouldn't make sense if I accuse you of that if we're on the phone and you're. So
Correct.
what if you got loud? Could that be considered combative?
No, being loud would be in the format of becoming aggressive, still in the same arena as confrontational
But not
because
combative.
people feel not combative. Mm-mm.
But if I'm aggravated and I just don't like you and I want to pick the worst of the two, I'm going to say you're combative. And then you would
And
say
then
you
I'm
would
going
say
to tell you to get you a dictionary because it's no such thing as being combative if you're not being physical.
okay. Thank you so much for that. Let's try that same thing on with being manipulative and or persuasive. All right. So let's just say you and I. We can use you and me. I don't like using examples that involve me or my guest, but we're going to be safe this time. Let's just say you and I. You're selling me something, and
Mm-hmm.
you tell me all the good, bad, and the ugly about this particular product, and I say, "Oh wow, that's great. That's awesome. I like it. I'm going to buy it." And I buy it. And then a week
Mm-hmm.
later, I have what they call buyer's remorse. And then when I come back to get an exchange or a refund, you tell me, no, we don't do changes and refunds. It's right down here in the fine print. And I told you that. You signed off on it. So we can't do a refund. But then you go and then you accuse me, maybe even in a lawsuit, or maybe you call the manager out or whatnot. And you say, well, he manipulated me. Now, you were fine with it whenever I was fine with it whenever when you sold it to me. But after some time, I either became aggravated or decided I didn't like you or I didn't like the product. So I wasn't manipulated when I bought it, but I'm manipulated now. What would you have to do in your sales pitch for me to be accurate in accusing you of manipulating me for buying that product?
Well, if the person is being manipulated, they will continue to have you to sign, making it a legal document that this is what you wanted, regardless if you did not want it. When you sign, seal, and deliver, it's not your word against their word anymore. It is in black and white, and this is what's going to stand. So to be manipulative, my format of being manipulative is to get the person to sign the dotted line.
Okay,
And
let
that's
me ask you,
that.
I heard you, but what would you have to actually do for me to come back? I'm in the store, remember, and I'm accusing you of being manipulative. Tell me in one sentence, what would you have to do for me to be accurate? What
As
would
I
you?
stated, if I'm being manipulative, I'm going to continue to coerce you to get you to sign. That's being manipulative. I'm not even persuading you at that time because I'm not giving you any good points. I just want you to do what I want you to do, and that's to sign the document. So you're in the store. You could possibly tell the supervisor, well, I really didn't want it, but they continued to ask me to sign, and I just got tired of her asking me to sign the document, so I just went ahead on and signed. that is what your voice would be to the supervisor or the manager at that time. She continued to harass me to sign the document, so I just did it.
So
I didn't
then,
want to deal with her anymore, so I signed it.
okay. So what I'm hearing is I would have to be forceful in some kind of way to be accurate. No, you would have to be forceful in some kind of way for me to be accurate in accusing you of manipulating me. You would have to have overtalked me,
Correct.
out-talked me, not let me read anything, just sign it, and then tell me. You would have had to lie to me and tell me we're going to give you a refund if you don't like it or something like that. I would have had to tell you something different than what you signed or what I signed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure I'm straight here, and I don't want it to get convoluted. What you're saying that you would have had to do for me to be accurate in accusing you of being manipulative is I would have probably had to lie to you or tell you something different outside of what you signed.
Yes, outside of the little small print that you were supposed to read when signing a contract. But because they were a fast talker and afraid you from reading that little small print, you went ahead on and signed it. So that's what I would call being manipulative.
Okay. All right. Well, with all that being said and done, you can clearly hear how, it's important to communicate and, actually talk when you're communicating with someone to make sure that no one can accuse you of being any of those things: combative, confrontational, persuasive, or manipulative. And I wanted to have this conversation with you. We're definitely out of time. I'm going to speak with my next guest on the closer, of the point I wanted to make overall, because now I have your and my conversation, to pitch to the closing point that I want to make. Is there anything you want to say about anything we discussed just now before I let you go? Because I'm going to get another guest on and we're going to talk some more about this.
Well, I wanted to hear the closer. How would I be able to hear the closer?
Oh, well, I'll send you the link. You can watch it after we're off, with my next guest.
Okay.
I'll send you the link and you can hear, the closing. But is there anything you want to say in regards to anything that I just said or ask you? Any questions, thoughts, views, comments before I let you go?
As you say what you mean. And that's that. And I don't have anything else. As I say, this.
I'm not hearing you. Something's going on. I'm not hearing you clearly.
Can you hear me now? I'm sorry. Just always say what you mean. And please remember to sign and read before you sign that little small print, because you never know if you're being manipulated. Got it.
Okay. Got
That's
it.
it.
Okay. Thank you so much. I love you, right? I appreciate you. I want you to come back and be with me another time. And we will talk very soon, okay?
All right.
All right. Have a good evening. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it, my friends. My first guest. And we talked about some very powerful and important things. I'm going to make my closing point when I come back with my second guest. So do me a favor. Hold the spot you got. I'll be right back.
Stay focused. Not everyone will like you, support you, or wish you well. But there are so many more that will love and appreciate you as you continue to move forward. In fact, many people don't even have eyes to see you or ears to hear you. They're not even on the same frequency. So, don't always think they're hating on you. I am convinced that for every one that can't and won't see you, there are 100 more that can and will. You have purpose. Don't quit. Keep moving up. Step out and be bold. Your day is soon to come, and your testimony will be motivation for others. I believe. Stay focused. Mighty Horn Music. Smooth jazz, top 40, R&B, inspirationals, and more. Live from the Hollywood Home Studio. Like, share, subscribe. And thanks for tuning in.
Good evening and welcome to part 2 of the swimming pool. Thank you so much for staying with me. I really appreciate it. I'm going to get on with my caller right now on the spot, and we're going to finish up, and I'm going to give what I think is the my version of the closer to part 1 of this live stream. Here's hoping you're having a wonderful evening already and that you're ready for the weekend, baby. Yeah, and away we go. By the way, if you'd like to chat with me, I'd love to chat with you.
Hello?
Hey, man, what's crack-a-lacking?
What's going on?
All right, you know you're live and you're on the live stream. The swimming pool, SWYM.
Hold on a second. Give me a second. Give me a second.
He needs a second. Well, his time is up already. Good thing we didn't have $1 million on the line because, well, I guess one of us would be rich. But anyway, as I was saying, if you'd like to chat with me, I'd love to chat with you. Travis Bridges 2 at AOL.com. By the way, in the very near future, I'm going to be using Travis at TravisBridges.com for my official site. Are you
All
back?
right, I'm back.
Oh, okay. Hey, how you? What's up? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Wasn't ready for the call. My bad. You caught me off guard.
I know. I figured I would, and that's what I like. But anyway,
Okay.
I'm going to keep us on time. We're going to be right at about 18 minutes and some change. So I'm going to hit it and quit it because you're going to be the closing part of tonight. So here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to ask you true or false or yes or no questions. Then I'm going to give you the opportunity to explain your understanding of what it is I'm about to say. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go then. Okay. Listen to the statement, then you tell me true or false. First one. Your opinion of someone else is a reflection of yourself. True or false?
True.
Ooh. All right, here's another one. It takes one to know one. True or false?
False.
Okay. All right. A negative description to and about other people. Oh, negative descriptions. Negative descriptions to and or about other people are unnecessary. True or false?
Negative.
I'll repeat it.
Ask that again. I'm sorry.
Negative descriptions to and or about other people is just totally unnecessary. True or false?
That's false.
That's false? Okay, I need to
Yeah.
start writing down. So you said false to this one and false to the second one and true to the first one. Okay, I need to write those down. Okay, here's the next one. I got this one from Les Brown, by the way. Someone's opinion of you doesn't have to be your reality. True or false?
Doesn't have to be. That's true.
Okay. All right. And the last one. If you can't say anything good, don't say nothing at all. True or false?
If I can't, I guess that's false.
Are you trying to make this interesting? Because I know you would talk better than that. Really? If you can't say anything good, don't say anything at all. Really?
Hey, sometimes you just got to say something bad.
Okay. So then give me
I
your...
mean, it's kind of a generic statement. You know what I mean? I guess I could be looking deeper into it.
Okay. Well, you know how I often ask my guests to to send me an email. Either they can talk to me or they can write me a scenario that they would have me talk about. So I've been getting a few of those, and some of my topics come from the emails that I get, travisbridges2 at AOL.com. So I've gotten a few, and this one is kind of sort of hinging from one of those. But I'm going to get right into it and talk to you about your opinion of someone else is a reflection of yourself. You said that was true. Tell me how.
Because it depends on what your opinion is and how you describe it. If I give my opinion that someone is terrible because their skin color is different from mine, I think that's a reflection of them because they're racist. You know, that's an example.
Okay, wait, say that again.
I'm saying someone's opinion, it depends on what their opinion is.
Okay.
That can be a reflection. So
Of
if someone
themselves.
shares the opinion, yeah. If someone shares the opinion that all people are this way simply because of their skin color, that they just told on themselves. That they're just probably they're ignorant or they're racist, you know, something like that.
Mm.
That's how I look at it.
Okay. I'm not sure if that's what I was looking for, but I'm going to take it. So, okay, I'm going to try to give an example of maybe what I was expecting. And if I had gotten, I guess, what I was looking for, not that I was expecting anything in particular, that's just what I wasn't expecting directly.
Some of these questions, yeah, they're missing a little context.
Yeah, I know, on purpose.
Yeah.
But normally, if I see something in someone and I call it out, a part of that is in me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to recognize it. So if I'm saying something about someone, good or bad or ugly, it's a part of me. So if I say something about you, if I say you're mean, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm mean, but in order for me to recognize mean, it's a reflection of something that I've done, and it's something that I'm seeing. So it's a reflection, of me. I'm actually able to see that. So I'm just going to kind of leave that one there. We're going to definitely have to do a live stream on that one, a solo live stream. A solo live stream on that one. So it takes one to know one, sort of kind of goes into that same thing. How can you call me something if you don't know about it yourself? I mean, I'm sure there's many ways. Okay, I don't have to be.
Well, I mean, I think the statement is kind of broad. I mean, if I see someone clearly doing something wrong, that doesn't mean I'm that type of person to be able to know what wrong is.
Then how do you know it's wrong?
Because I've been taught that way by seeing it and being told and knowing what the laws are when I read them.
Okay, so as it relates to, maybe I should have been a little more, you talking about the laws now, normally this is hinging on someone having an opinion about someone, a personal opinion. People call people names all the time. People give people descriptions of other people all the time. People have things to say all the time. Hold on. I need to change pens. People have have something to say. And I kind of lost my train of thought because I was doing a little mini.
No, I kind of get what you're saying. I mean, it's not completely false. I mean, there is some truth to it.
Mm-hmm. So
it depends on the circumstance.
Well, really, it does depend on the circumstances. So we'll have to have a live stream on that one too. Okay, a negative description about someone or to someone. Why is it necessary to say something negative about somebody?
Again, it depends. If I'm coaching someone and I see nothing but bad things, it's my job and obligation to say something about it.
Okay, hold on. Let me jump in. Okay, negative doesn't mean constructive. As a coach, something may not feel good, but I can't imagine a good coach saying something negative. Just because something doesn't feel good or sound good doesn't mean it's negative. I'm talking about bad talk, down talk, negative talk. about someone, assassination of either someone's character or, something about them. That's not a negative talk. If you're a coach and you see someone needs to, execute something, that's part of the team handbook, that wouldn't be negative. So as it relates to negativity, I'm talking about just talking, gossiping, talking about someone or saying negative things about someone. Is that necessary?
Yeah, most cases, no, I don't think so.
Right. That's the point I'm making. And I can see how, what you're saying. And maybe I could be a little more specific, but this is about, coming from a place, an opinionated place. Sometimes an opinion is good, sometimes it's not. But as it relates to negativity, we should never find ourselves speaking negative about someone, especially if we don't like them or something they're doing. If someone is breaking the law, if they are violating us in any kind of way and we want to comment on that particular thing, okay, so be it. But to just sit around and just talk about people and talk down about people, it's gossiping. It's not good. It's bad. It's negative talk. We should always want to uplift people as opposed to trying to find something bad. And that definitely is a reflection. Go ahead.
Is it wrong to just, for some, you have your reasons for not liking someone. I'm only asking this because this kind of happened to me recently. I don't really like someone. I don't like them as a person. And one of my friends wants to invite them out. And I simply said no, and I didn't want to elaborate on why because I had nothing but bad things to say. But I had to give my reasons. Should I just stay silent there in that situation?
Okay, you're gonna try to make it tough on me. Okay, explain it again because I want to be.
Okay.
Okay, no, let me repeat what you said to make sure you got it. Okay, so you're hanging out with some of your friends and you're gonna go somewhere. Somebody in the group wants to invite somebody that you're not necessarily fond of. So if they say,
right.
If you say no, I'd rather not be around that person or that energy, then they say, well, why? And so you're saying, should you say why, or should you not say anything? Is that your question?
Right. That's my question.
So
I ended up saying some things, and I got some flack for it.
Well, it depends.
After being questioned about 4 or 5 times.
So you got flack. Did you get flack because you said something negative? Did you say something counterproductive? Or did you just share an experience that didn't leave you feeling good? I'm kind of leading the question. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. What did you get flack about? Let me just ask you this. Did you say something negative? Yes or no? Yes or no?
The group said it was negative. I didn't think it was.
Well, that's the question. I'm not talking about the group. In your heart, did you feel what you said was negative? We just talked about what negative is. Yes or no?
Man, is thinking someone talks too much a negative thing?
No, you have to be your own judge. Ain't nobody sitting up judging you today like that.
I don't think it's negative. I don't think it's negative.
You don't think it's negative. Okay. Well, you have to be at peace. And what are you judging it by?
Yeah.
What are you judging yourself by? Would you want someone to say that same thing about you?
No, not at all.
So then maybe it was negative.
Yeah, but me versus this person, we would respond to it differently. If someone had something negative to say about it or felt some type of way, I would be open to talk about it and get their perspective. Them, on the other hand, would say, well, you're going to hear what I have to say regardless. And I'm like, all right, I don't want to be
keep
around
in mind, negative, something that's constructive doesn't have to be negative. What I'm asking you, specific and directly, so we can move on for the sake of time, is what you said negative or not? If it's constructive, if it's a part of an experience, if it's your own personal experience, was it negative?
No, it wasn't like an attack on their, personal, their looks or anything like that. So no, it wasn't negative.
Okay, so then what you did was you shared it.
I think it was all constructive.
You shared it. Say it again.
I guess the way I look at it is all constructive, because if they took the time to listen, I think it would help them.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try to move on from that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. That was pretty good. Someone's opinion of you doesn't have to be your reality. That was a kind of a trick question. I already know the answer to that, but I want to hear you answer it again and explain. How is it that someone's opinion of you doesn't have to be your reality? Because let's just use the example. Your opinion about someone may not have even been an opinion. It could have been an experience. Can an opinion be okay, 2 questions. Is an experience and an opinion the same? Yes or no?
No.
Ooh, okay. So someone's opinion. So was that your opinion of this person or your experience of this person with this person?
It's a mix of both, because based on my experiences, I developed.
Which was it
an
more
opinion.
of? Was it more of your experience or more
Experiences, because
Okay.
I wouldn't have had an opinion if I didn't experience.
There we go. Okay.
You know.
All right.
Yeah.
So then the truth is, in examining this, maybe you didn't say anything negative. What you said may not have been a good image of the experience you had with this person. And people make mistakes. People do things that they hopefully get the opportunity to either apologize or repent from. So what you said was an experience. And maybe you might need to go and clear the air with this person, or open the door, or leave the door open for this person to maybe try to get things right, because that's the idea. You want to try to resolve any kind of conflict. So I'm not going to try to, school you on what you ought to do, but it's not a bad idea. Maybe you should make a call or send a text or stop by and say, hey, listen, how do we fix this? Because if it's a negative experience, it's definitely could be a misunderstanding. But if someone is just evil and bad, then of course, let them go. Let them go. Last and final, if you can't say anything good, don't say nothing at all. You said no, sometimes you have to say something bad. Explain that.
Oh, well, I mean, you kind of, I was looking at it as the constructive criticism thing, but overall, yeah, I agree with that statement. If you're actually saying something that's outright bad and you don't have anything else good to say, you should just not say anything, not throw that out there into the universe.
Absolutely. I
Put
kind
that
of
energy out there.
Yeah, I did it like that to bring it back so that you could actually change that. So you said faults at first. Now you're saying, okay, yeah, it's true. If you don't have anything good to say, try to keep your mouth closed. Is that what I'm hearing now?
Yeah.
Okay, good for you. You get a
you
get a B minus.
Thank you.
Yeah, you get a B. You said thank you. You're supposed to get an A plus. Maybe
I
next
know,
time.
but I'll get there.
No problem. Okay, so now let me just go ahead and make the close so we can move on. 2 people were talking. This is the scenario that all this was about. 2 people were talking, and one person decided they would share an opinion about the other one's character or personality. And the person said about the person, let's see how it was. One person said about the other person that they were combative. That was the one thing that they said about their personality. They were discussing each other's personality traits and whatnot. So one person said that the other person was combative, and the other person, they got into a conversation, and then now these 2 people aren't talking to each other. So now I'm not being a counselor, a doctor, psychologist, or a psychiatrist, but I'm kind of analyzing the situation, and trying to reach a resolve in this. But here's the point I guess I'm making. The person that called the other person combative said maybe what you're seeing in that person, they were saying, okay, the person said, what you're seeing in me is a reflection of yourself. And because that statement has truth in it, and the person is intelligent, the other person responded, according to the notes, I'm not, let's see how it goes. I'm not combative. I am, let's see, what's the word? I'm not combative. I am, gosh, what is the word? Confrontational. That's the word. I'm not combative. I'm confrontational. That's what the person said, the other person said, and that's how it went. So in my mind, I'm thinking, is there a difference between combative and confrontational? That's the question for you right now as I close. Is there a difference?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. So,
No.
so as I was speaking to the person, before I decided I would discuss this, I said, and I'm going to be a little graphic, so hide your ears if you're sensitive. I said, it's just like a person saying, I don't do crack cocaine, I just snort cocaine. So is that the same or different? There are two different types of way to ingest a illegal substance, but it's kind of the same thing. So to accuse someone of being combative and then say, I'm not combative, I'm confrontational.
They just like prove that argument or prove that statement. They're just fighting for no reason.
Well, no, that what I think was proven is that normally what you see in someone else usually is a reflection of yourself. And to accuse someone of being anything other than a child of God is not always necessary. But I guess that is the closing point, and that's what I did all of this live stream for. To say that if you find yourself saying something, thinking something, or gossiping about someone, and it's not constructive, it's just a reflection of what's actually going on inside of an individual who's doing that. So with that being said, I'd love to keep you on a whole nother hour and a half, but I'm not going to do that. I think the message in this is to be careful of our thoughts, especially when it comes, when it's about someone else. As a human being, I'm no different from you. I may have a different skin color, may be from a different place. You may have more than me or whatnot, but we're still, you cut me, I'm going to bleed the same blood as you. Your blood, if it's the same type, may even be, interchangeable, with mine. And so we need to mind how we talk about people and the things we say, just because, we're either mad or don't like them or having a problem within ourselves. So with that being said, you must have thoughts, views, comments, or a closing statement so that I can let you go.
No, overall, it's a great message that I've heard many times before, and you can never really get tired of hearing it because it's something we need to be reminded of all the time. And I'm speaking for me personally, so this phone call came just in time, and I appreciate the discussion.
Absolutely. With that being said, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm going to let you go, and I'll holler at you later. Oh, you know what you got to do.
Care.
Find somebody you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it, but find a way to show. I'm going to add, show that you care. It's nothing wrong with loving someone, because in 1984, Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it? So yeah, it's okay to love someone. One preacher said from the pulpit, love got to do everything with it. Because of course, Jesus is love, and he couldn't say, love had nothing to do with it. So he was just, doing his thing. But the point is, caring for someone is a little more, well, I don't want to say a little more. It's different than just loving someone. With that being said, have a good night. I'll holler at you, okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay, 10-4. All right. And there you have it. Part number 2 of the swimming pool. This one was pretty good tonight. I really appreciate it. Very interesting, very thought-provoking, I hope anyway. Do me a small favor as you make your way. Share my stuff, okay? I need a few more subscribers before I can go live from my phone. I want to be able to take my phone out if I'm not able to be stuck in the studio or at a computer where I can do it. And I want to be able to do live from somewhere else, like maybe, on the street with people with a microphone, and just be able to be a little more mobile. Anyway, subscribe, share, and like my stuff. I appreciate it. Till next Wednesday, take good care of yourself. Oh, by the way, go to my website. I'm back at it again. I'm doing some live events, and on my website, which is travisbridges.com, look for upcoming events, and it'll tell you where I'm at. And each week I am inviting someone out to have to be my special guest, to get preferred seating and dinner on me. there's more details to that. So anyway, send me an email to travis@travisbridges.com regarding being my special guest at my Thursday night event. Till next week, take good care of yourself, and I loves ya, okay? Good night.
As time draws near and you plan your social events, call Mighty Horn Music for a party you and your friends will never forget. From banquets, receptions, family reunions, and church functions to birthday, executive, or private parties, Mighty Horn delivers. Event packages include live musicians, psalmists, comedians, clowns, and a karaoke show that's guaranteed to make you laugh. Mighty Horn Music specializes in providing a variety of music to keep your guests going for hours. Mighty Horn Music. Let us create a custom sound for your special event. From start to finish, Mighty Horn Music will plan your theme, decorate, cater, and entertain your guests with class and style. This year, make your events live with Mighty Horn Music. Call 786-487-7338, 786-487-7338, or log on to mightyhornmusic.com and let's party.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. When you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemy. You anoint my head with oil, my cups run over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.